the dispersed, and would he go amidst the Gentiles and teach the Gentiles? So he was going to go amidst those so-called heathen nations and teach those heathen nations. That's what they were saying. Was he going to do that? And ultimately, by way of this internet, by way of this word being brought up on this global scale, by way of this internet, you got it to where the laws open up the understanding to all of those people now. Now they're coming back to their understanding who whether they was going to look like Moabites, Ammonites, Ishmaelites. They was going to perceive who they was by way of the conviction that they have for this truth. They believed in the Most High, but not according to understanding. But when that understanding came, okay, when it was going to come by way of the men of the Lord being out here, they was going to get into this word, man. And they was going to fear the Lord because they was going to perceive those curses that they've been living their day-to-day life was going back onto the Deuteronomic curses, man. They was going to perceive that. And therefore, in fearing the Lord, they was going to come back to the knowledge, man. Okay, so let's go back onto the book of Proverbs now. All right. Now, this is back in the book of Proverbs. Okay. Proverbs, the first chapter, and this is the 20th verse. It says, "Wisdom crieth without, she uttereth her voice in the streets. She crieth in the chief places of concourse, in the openings of the gates, in the openings in the gates, in the cities she uttereth her voice, saying, How long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity, and the scorners delight in scorning?" And that's a question that goes out to Jakes out there, right? And it's usually them Jakes out there like Baloo, okay? Right, because he's an individual that loves. Hey, what's up, man? You okay? Yeah. What do you believe about the UK economy right now?
We're not from here, so I don't know.
Where you from?
Colorado.
Are you from America? You're Americans. All right.
Or even worse.
You're from Babylon itself, then. Okay. So back within the scriptures right here. Hey, if you don't know America's Babylon by now, you're just simple. Right? So that goes into this. How long will you simple ones will you love simplicity, man? I should have asked him about the US economy, because that's just dead. Okay? The US economy is non-existent anymore. Okay, it's surviving by way of what's known as the petrodollar. Okay, if you don't know about the petrodollar, brothers have done videos about it. Go check out the videos, study. Okay, it's a thing about knowledge, not a thing about just standing there holding camp signs and shouting at people. It's a thing about knowledge, man. Okay, and that ties in directly with what the scripture's saying. How long will you simple ones will you love simplicity, man? Okay, just ha, laughing at all of that. You gotta get into the breadth of this thing, man. Okay, if you was talking about, you got guys out there talking about kings in the building, and they don't understand the basics of geopolitics that's happening out. And I'm not saying you have to be like some brothers out there that who the Most High has opened up that particular understanding to, because they was going to be the teachers. What I'm saying is you should be watching those brothers and giving them, oh, hey, brother, that was 100. I didn't even know about that. Because the Most High has opened their minds out to understand that. You don't have to be the guy that's bringing it out, but goddamn it, you got to be the person that's watching those individuals and at least putting a thumbs up on the video, man. Okay? Because, hey, the information's out there. Okay? So the scripture says, how long will you simple ones will you love simplicity? Well, the simple fact of the matter is, when you go to the book of Isaiah 6 and 9, the scripture talks about how the simpletons was going to be in a simple state of minds till the cities be laid waste. We know that. And when the cities going to be laid waste, okay, you got the floodgates opening. Okay, you got the persecution that we're going to read about in a second. Okay, you got the time of Jacob's trouble and destruction. Okay, so when those cities going to be laid waste, it's going to be laid waste right at the point of time. That's when they're going to perceive, wait, hold on a minute. Those brothers that were on the street corner preaching the word, they was actually right. America's actually going to be receive judgment. Okay, they was going to see all of those things, and then that's when they're going to come into the realization of how much they have messed up. In fact, let's see that within the scriptures of the book of Wisdom of Solomon, the 5th chapter. Okay, all right. So Wisdom of Solomon, the 5th chapter. Okay, and the first verse, it says, "Then shall the righteous man stand up, all right, in great boldness before the face of such as afflicted him, and made no account of his labors." Now that's before Esau, and that's before Jakes. Okay, the righteous was going to stand bold in front of Esau. The righteous was going to stand bold in front of Jakes. Okay, right, because Jakes had it to where they persecuted. They were scoffing. Okay, they was making mockery. You had it to where Micah, he was making mockery until the Lord judged his so-called friend. Okay, you had it to where all of these Israelites out here, they was making mockery because they love simplicity. Right? But the Lord said, we were still going to stand in great boldness. In fact, the scripture goes as far as saying that the just is going to live by faith, man. So whatever these individuals are doing in their so-called day-to-day, we was going to live by the faith of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua in doing this work and pushing out this word, that we was going to receive mercy for this word being pushed out, man. We was going to receive mercy at the time of that destruction, in the time of Jacob's trouble. We believed that we was going to be redeemed out of that time, man. Okay, so let's go back into this. It says, I made no account of his labors. When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear and amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond what they have looked for. Because as far as Jacob is concerned, as far as Esau is concerned, right, there ain't no mercy that's going to touch the Israelites, man. Okay, especially the elect of the Israelites. They don't see that. So when they see that, when they see it so far beyond what they have looked for, they're gonna be troubled with terrible fear, because that salvation is mutual, is synonymous with their destruction. Those chariots are gonna be doing as much saving as gonna be doing as destruction, man. Okay. So they repenting and groaning, for anguish of spirit shall say within themselves, this is he whom we had sometimes in derision, a proverb and reproach. So they're going to look at the brothers, especially dealing with Jakes out there that love being simple. They're going to be looking like, wait, hold on a minute. Wasn't that just on that guy's coming board stuffing just the other day? Okay, they're going to be repenting and groaning within their spirit, man. So the time of all of these things happening, we're getting closer and closer to that. We're getting closer and closer to that, man. Okay, right, with all of these things that are happening out here with the false flags events, or the legislation that's being passed, like the day that stuff happens, like it's just scripted. Okay, all of them things are all key and needful. Okay, right, for the chaos that the Lord wants to happen, for salvation can play out, man. Okay, so let's carry on with this. Okay, so it says, we fools account his life of madness and his end without honor. And that's how they look at us. I say, oh, look at them bums. that's what Belu says, these bum camps. Look, I'd rather be a bum that receives salvation than the rich man that gets destruction. Straight up. There's no question about that. Because the salvation of the Most High is going to import. And that's why you're seeing all of these different people out there, okay, within their so-called bum lifestyles. See, here's the thing about it. When you're dealing with a group like IUIC, okay, or a group like ISUPK, these so-called upwardly mobile camps, and they're talking about being well and good, right, within Babylon. That's all good and well, but what if you're out there, okay? What if you're out there amidst the Moabites, amidst the Ishmaelites, and you're still an Israelite, but the land you're living in, Esau has had it to where there is no commerce that's coming into that land. Okay, so you're talking about Nigeria. Let's speak about Nigeria, for instance. What Esau's basically done within that country, he stripped that country of his so-called liberties by way of that oil. Okay, so he set up certain public leaders that have it to where the oil goes out dirt cheap, right, in trade for having just that individual being rich. In other words, when you got Saudi Arabia as a whole country is rich because Esau has dealt differently with Saudi Arabia than he's done with Nigeria. Okay, in Saudi Arabia, they have had what's known as the petrodollar. So they have a mutual understanding. They have a treaty. Okay. And in having that treaty, there was mutual benefits of that treaty. Saudi Arabia had it to where they can grow, right, their commerce, their so-called economy, all right, by way of having it to where they got guns and all of these so-called military artillery from Esau. And Esau has it to where they can expand their vast oil reserves out there within Saudi Arabia. Now for Nigeria, okay, you had it to where they didn't do the same thing. They just came, stripped the country of oil, okay, and didn't have it to where the mutual benefits of that selling that oil was being felt by the country. Now I say that all to say this. What about the Israelites amidst those West African countries where Esau has raped and robbed and murdered? Are they supposed to be upwardly mobile? Are they supposed to be financially independent within Babylon? What hope do they have? Okay, the only hope that they have is that there was going to be a power that was going to crack the clouds and receive mercy. It's going to have it to where it's going to impart mercy upon those people, man. That's what these people are looking at. See, you got it to where you got a microcosm out there within America, the little world that the IUIC knows, okay, and they're talking about being upwardly mobile within that little world. The world is a much bigger, vaster place, and the vast majority of Israelites out there are in poverty. They're in impoverished positions, man. So you was gonna be feeding these people with a hope, right? They was gonna receive something greater than what they have received within this kingdom. That's what they was gonna give up the life that they've got out here, because ultimately it was gonna be a BS lifestyle anyway. Okay, and we go to the book of Psalms, the 37th chapter. It expounds upon that, how the meek was gonna inherit the kingdom of heaven. okay? And the proud that are out there within, you know, prominent places like London, America, which is Babylon within the scriptures. We know that all those individuals, the pride of them, like Belu and so on and so forth, because they've got a little bit of the pride that Esau has created, okay? They was going to be so vested within keeping that small part of Esau's lifestyle that they was really going to turn against the truth, man. But the vast majority of the whole entire globe, not just Israelites, but everybody up on the face of the planet is actually in an impoverished position because Esau has kept all of the wealth to himself. Okay, let's get back to the scripture, not to sidetrack too much. It says, we fools account his life with madness and his end without honor. How is he numbered amongst the children of the Most High and his lot amongst the saints? Okay, so let's go back onto the book of Proverbs, the first chapter on the 20th verse, and this is the 22nd verse actually. How long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity, and the scorners delight in scorning, right? And the fools hate knowledge. Okay, that's the question, and we've already answered that question. Isaiah the 6th chapter on the 9th verse. So the 23rd verse now, it says, turn you at my reproof, and behold, I'll pour out my spirit unto you. Okay, and I'll make known my words unto you. I'll make my words known unto you. Okay, so that's basically dealing with really all Israelites out there. Okay, right, when the floodgates has been opened, like has been opened right now, with videos hitting hundreds of thousands. Okay, brothers, videos hitting hundreds of thousands, with the word really being fully, it's starting to get really fully manifested across the whole entire globe. Then you have a situation where what, the reproval was going to go out. Okay, because the scripture does say within the book of Isaiah, the 58th chapter, how we was going to go out there, right? We were going to rebuke. Is it Isaiah 58th chapter? It might not be Isaiah 58, but we're going to cry out loud. All right, we're going to spare not. Okay, we're going to reprove, rebuke. Okay, with all long suffering, man. So in other words, our job is to correct these people. Okay, by way of the word of Yahweh Shimi Al-Shai, it was going to go out there. It was going to speak the words of correction. And in so speaking those words, you was gonna have it to where some people was gonna turn at the reproof of Yahweh Shimi Al-Shai. Now, what was the Lord gonna do, right, to those people that feared the Lord, to the end that they was gonna turn at the reproof of the Most High? Okay, so let's read about it. So it says, turn you at my reproof, and behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you. And that's the beautiful thing about it. That's what's sweet about it. Okay, because at the moment, at the onset of you turning at the reproof of Yahweh Shimi Al-Shai, this was what's going to happen. The Lord was going to open up the understanding unto you, okay, of the entirety of the scriptures. Because when you go out there into them different churches out there, them different religions, you have no scriptural understanding, okay? There is no understanding within you, okay? You don't know what the book of Revelations is talking about. You have no idea. The guy that's on the podium preaching to you, he has no idea what he's talking about. But he gets a certain amount of money out of it, so he's good, okay? And in some cases, these different cats, they get the houses and all of that, they're good, they're nice, okay? Moving on. These different religions, most of them religions are based around money, man, okay? So they make a certain amount of money out of these people, and they're good, they're nice. They ain't worried about the understanding, actually feeding the people with knowledge of what's happening on around them. In other words, martial law coming up, these false flag events happening, okay? I know one of these different religions is going to have all of that understanding. So what happens is you come up to the camp where you see the video, okay, you're living your life in a certain manner, you get cursed out, okay, directly and indirectly, and most of the time it's indirectly because we don't know what we don't know what everybody's doing out, and now the spirit could open it out to you, but we don't know everybody. So you might have it to where you interact with a certain individual and you can perceive that he's doing this, that, and the third. But for the vast majority of the people that we don't interact with on a one-to-one basis, the spirit was going to rebuke them. Okay, so the words that we're speaking, okay, not eating pork, not committing adultery, not being covetous, okay, following the Lord's such commandments of the Most High to the best of your ability. All of those things was going to go out there on record as reproval. And when the Most High has it to where a man has a conviction within his spirit that how he's living his life is incorrect, and he should fashion his life to that of the men of the Lord out here, starting with the apostles of great millstone on down, then guess what? The Lord was going to allow that person to get the understanding of the scriptures. That's what the scripture's saying right here. Okay, so it says, turn you at my reproof, and behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you, and I will make my words known unto you. Because I have called and ye have refused, and I have stretched out my hand and no man regarded. Okay, and that's dealing with the guys that turn at the reproof. They're like, no, we ain't trying to turn at the reproof of the Lord, man. We're about our own thing, man. Okay, so here it is, the floodgates is being opened, but you still was going to have it to where 2/3 of our people was going to make it. Only 1/3 was going to make it. Okay, so still a larger people who's going to receive destruction by way of what's coming up out here, which I'm going to get into next. They was going to receive the judgment of all of their actions, as opposed to mercy for the correction that's been imparted upon them. Okay, right? All of the they was going to turn away from the they was going to turn away the reproof of the Most High, and as a result, they was going to receive judgment because of that. So this leads nicely onto the next bit. I'll read in my notes and see what the next bit is word for word. But I believe it's persecution, so it leads into the latter part. In fact, so I'll hold on to that. So I believe the next segment is dealing with the persecution. So we touched on the floodgates being opened. As a result of Esau seeing the floodgates being opened and brothers teaching, brothers getting down on all of that, what Esau was going to do naturally, okay, he was going to start persecuting Jakes for this word going up. Okay, and we seen that within the history, right, where when brothers was teaching, right, Esau will come up heavy upon them. Okay, when the Lord was born, all right, I forget the king that was or the ruler that was in charge was Herod. He was basically said, look, who is this king of the Jews? I'm the king of the Jews, right? And he went out there and killed all of the babies from a certain age span, okay, to make sure that so-called Messiah, all right, so-called Messiah, that's Satan, right, to make sure that the Messiah wasn't born. Okay, so that's how Esau deals. But what happened was you had spiritual intervention. Okay, you had it to where the Messiah went out there into a land where the grip, right, of Herod's reach, right, couldn't get there. Okay, and the same thing has happened on a multitude of instances. Okay, when the Lord was on the scene, you had it to where after he had left, all of them Jakes were killed off. Now, really, principally, it started first and foremost with the Israelites themselves. To the end that the statement is made, "O Jerusalem, thou that killest the prophets," because you got it to where a vast majority of the times you have it to where the prophets of the Lord are killed by their own people. Okay. Right, but why do they? You're gonna go into the reasons why. Because ultimately, what happens is you have a so-called radical individual like the Lord, or Peter, or Paul, okay, or Matthew, or Luke. Those were radical individuals, okay, because they was going up against the grain of what was deemed as the norm by the Romans, okay. So in so going up against the grain of what the Romans more demanded as the norm. The Israelites, they were saying, look, hold on a minute. These guys, when they're out there teaching what they're teaching, they're actually going to have it to where we're going to catch more hell underneath these Romans. Okay? And the same thing was happening in every instance of the king. Some of the instances. Some instances you had it to where the king himself, he was going off, and you had a prophet sent out there to rebuke him. But dealing in the times just after the Lord, you had it to where the Jakes that were living there, they had made allegiances with the Roman Empire, with the Roman rulership, right, the Roman ruling class. They had thought they had gained certain positions. They said, look, man, with these guys speaking whatever they're speaking, we're gonna lose everything. So let's just get rid of these guys and coexist with the Romans. Now you get a similar sort of story and a similar sort of picture with the Jakes that are living right now. They want to be official, okay? And they're seeing us as these bum individuals that's going to take away their officiality, if you will, okay, from Esau, okay, and having to where they lose the position that they have gained within this world. Right? But we know this world is going to be destroyed, so what does it matter? Okay? But ultimately, that all leads up onto the persecution that's going to come upon. So let's go on to the book of Mark, the 13th chapter, and some other scriptures dealing with that persecution. And then we know that's going to tie in and lead into and link up with the time of Jacob's trouble. Okay? So we're going to go to the book of Mark, the 13th chapter. I'll start from the top, all right? Because all of the points there are relevant to the time that we're living in right now. Okay, so this is the book of Mark, the 13th chapter. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Mark, the 13th chapter. And I'll start from the first verse. Okay, so it says here, and as he went out of the temple, right, one of his disciples saith unto him, Master, see what manner of stones these buildings are? Yahushua answering them said, seest thou these great buildings? there shall not be left one stone left upon another that shall not be thrown down. Okay, so ultimately, you know, when you go into the understanding of the destruction that the Lord's going to unleash out here, you find out there's a lot of destruction that's going to come upon. All right, so I'm gonna jump ahead a little bit, and I'll touch more on the destruction, but just to elaborate on this point a little bit. So this is the book of Isaiah, the 24th chapter. Okay, and I'll start from the first verse. Okay, so Isaiah 24:1. Right, and this is dealing with the statement that the Lord has made, where he said there ain't gonna be left one stone that's left upon another. Okay, so Isaiah 24:1, it says, "Behold, the Lord maketh the earth empty, and maketh it waste. And he turneth it upside down, and scattereth abroad the inhabitants thereof. And it shall be as with the people, so with the priests, so with the servants, so with the master, mistress, buyer, seller, lender, borrower, taker of usury, and he that giveth usury." Right, or the giver of usury, rather. So when destruction comes upon this place by way of the ICBMs, okay, the chariots of the Lord, it's not going to be different from when the Lord presents himself. You're not going to have a difference of class like you got right now. You got it to where you got some people out there, they're driving their so-called Range Rover, their Land Rover, or their Maybach, or Maybach, whatever you want to call it. And you got some people out there, they're just living their old bus lane lifestyle, okay? The bicycle lane lifestyle, okay? In other words, you got different levels of society. So when chaos is brought loose out here, we'll see you got similarities with all of those lifestyles. All of those different classes of lifestyle, they still eat, they still drink, okay? They still go out there into the toilet and do a poop, okay? A poop, okay? A shit, if you will, okay? So what happens is when you take away those fundamental, what's the word? Amenities. I believe it's amenities. Okay, those fundamental things that you need to survive, which are all the same for every individual. Then you're gonna have it to where everybody is the same. Okay, when there's no water for one